Okay. So 4 people. So we can continue. So I said that you guys should read on standard deviation. So I wouldn't have the time to be explaining what standard deviation is. So that's why I want you guys to go and read up on it. Then we can talk about it in the next class. So moving forward, I'm going to teach you how to calculate.
Before moving forward, I've been absent in the previous two classes, and from the first video I watched about the assignment, I can see that you have already done the correction for the assignment. So, is
Yes.
it can I get the whole concept if I watch the video? Then you
So
said in the first class that people that did not do their project, hope this assignment is not part of the project because I've been absent in two of the classes.
the assignments are not part of the project per se. We are going to
Okay,
there will be a final project at the end of the classes.
okay.
And then
All right.
so I also what's your name?
After Shatana, sorry.
Saturn. Okay. So I touched on the assignment I gave last class. So we touched on that before we started the class. So I guess
I saw the assignment on the type of data analytics that we should explain that.
that was the first class.
Okay.
We gave another assignment in the second class.
Okay. Can I still submit the last class assignment?
Yes,
Or since you have
you
done
can submit all of them. You
okay,
can
okay.
see good all of them and submit here.
All right,
Well
thank you.
done. Yeah. So standard dev. No, standard deviation. So this standard deviation is like saying how far is a data set deviating from the mean, right? Let's say we calculate the mean, right, of this data set now, of all these records here. We calculate the mean. So we are now saying how far each of these records deviating from the mean, right? So to calculate standard deviation, we have I think standard dev. We can select all our cells, press enter. So this is the standard deviation for this record. So you guys can go and read up on it, right, for that. So the next one in line is the median. Does someone have a question? Please, if you don't have a question, mute yourself. The median function returns the middle value from a range of cells or values. So I'm sure in your mathematics, even right from primary one, I think you should have been doing stuff like mean, median, mode, and the likes. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So in Excel, you can also calculate those statistical values. So to calculate the median, equal to median, then you select all your values. The Excel does all the magic in the back end, in the back for you. We have the median as 539. 539. Any questions so far?
No question.
So we are all good.
Sorry, please. can you place your cursor on the standard deviation? I want to see the formula again.
So just type standard dev and highlight and select all the cells.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Moving on, let's see what we have next. In our menu, logical functions in Excel. Logical functions in Excel. Okay. So logical functions in Excel are used to perform logical operations and return logical values, true or false, based on specific conditions. They help in making decisions and performing calculations based on the valuation of these conditions. So a condition, right, I can say is okay. Take for example, right? I have in this animal column now. Oh, very good. I have goats. I have fowl, right? So a goat is what do you refer to? What category of animal does a goat fall in? Huh?
Domestic animal.
And fowl is also a domestic animal. So, but in biology, you call them mammals, right?
Yes.
Dog is also a mammal. And then cow. I think pig. I think rabbit as well. Right? But fowl is a bird. Right? So now, if I want to categorize this my animal list into birds and mammals, I will say that if look at this animal column, when you see something like dog or goats or cow, call it mammal. But when you see fowl, call it a bird. Right? So that's kind of using conditions, to classify my data. And to achieve that in Excel, you make use of logical functions. So in Excel, we have logical functions like if, and, or, and not. So from the example I gave right previously, I said look into this cell, and if you see dog, goats, cow, blah blah blah, call it mammal, and if you see fowl, call it. So the condition to start the statements is what you call the if statement. In Excel is the if statement. So you say if, you see that equal to if statement, right? And then you now see the logical tests. So this is where you put the conditions, then the value that should appear if it's true, then if it's false, the value that should appear. So from this case now, I have dog, I have goats, all the animals on this list are mammals except fowl, right? So in my logical test, I can say if the animal column equals to dog or goats or cow or pig or rabbit, return mammal value if true, mammal, it will be mammal. Then the value if false, return fowl. So automatically it will return fowl for me because I've not added fowl to the list of conditions. Am I confusing someone?
Yes. Come again.
What do you say?
Please come again. You're confusing someone.
Okay. So I was saying that now in Excel, right? We have if statement, which is a logical function, right? We have or, we have and. Now the if statement, right, checks if if a column or if a cell meets a particular condition. If a cell meets a particular condition, then the value, give me a certain value. If it meets a particular condition, give me a certain value. If not, give me this value. For example, now in this class we have genders, male and female, right? We can say that if any of the if any member of our class have I'm just saying, for example, if any member of our class have beard or beards or mustache, call it a male. If they don't, call it a female. But we know that there are some guys that don't have beards, Abby, and can we also call them female? Yeah, we can't call them female. But I'm just saying, for example, right? Now, since we said that if the members of the class, like, that don't have beards, they cannot all be called female, right? We cannot look for another condition, right? What condition
Like
can
the
we?
and
So we can't.
and condition.
What condition?
And
And,
yes.
like and.
Yes, yes, like and
Okay.
beers, and maybe you now decide to use private part or something.
Okay.
So
Okay. So if the person has beard and has let's say scrotum, right? We call it a man. If not, it's a woman. Right. So how to specify this logic in Excel is what we are trying to look at. But I just want us to kind of get the gist behind the logic. Am I making sense?
Yes.
Anybody confused? Okay. So let's go ahead to, have an example. So now, I mentioned the and the or conditions. So before I go into practical steps, so the and the or conditions, right? They work hand in hand with the if function. So like the other time we said if a member of the class has beards, right? Now that's if a member of the class has beards. That does not, so that does not, that only I condition does not fulfill our expectation. So we need to add another condition. So if we want the member of the class to meet two specific conditions, they must meet it to be called a male or to be called a man, right? A beards and a scrotum. So if your logical test must meet two conditions, then the logical the assist let me call it the assistant logical function will be and. So if it must meet two conditions, it might be more than two, it might be three, it might be four, right? It might be five. But if it must meet all those conditions, right, you can use You have to use and, right? But if the second condition is not important, so the member of the class can either meet any of the conditions, right? So let's take, for example, if he has beards, is a male, right? Also, if he has scrotum, is also a male, right? So they can meet either conditions, and it will be true, right? So if your condition, yeah, or if your let me say your item now can meet either of the conditions, either one of the conditions. So any one of the condition, if any one of the condition is true, right, then it satisfies your result. Then you use the or as the assistant function, or as the assistant function. There are also sometimes that you want to say if so is not equal to, right? So we can say if the member of the class does not have beard and does not have scrotum, is a female. That's where the not function comes in. So if it negates what you expect, you can also use the not function. So let's go directly into our first example. So I want to classify these animals into mammals and birds. Now, how many mammals do we have? We have one, two, three. No, one, two, three, 4, 5. So we have 5 mammals. So in this case, we'll say if, right? Our logical condition. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to say if, then you highlight this column. You highlight all the list of all the animals, right? If, and then you highlight equals of the animals, then you put equal to, right? If it's equal to what? Dog. You are using dog as, we are picking dog as our first this thing. If it's equal to dog, right? So you now put dog in double quotes, dog, right? For this example, let me just add one first. So what is the value if true? We want it to be mammal, right? So I'll open a double quote again, and then inside it I'll type mammal, right? Then comma. What should be the value if false? Now we'll say let's call it bird, right? Then you can now close the brackets and click enter. Spew. I think this spill error is coming up because we did not make this a table. Because why we having spill? No. No. Hold on. Smith. Okay. The mistake I made was I highlighted all the cells. So I'm supposed to pick the cell one by one so that I can now drag, so that I can drag down. Let me come again. So equal to if, then our logical test, if cell A2, right, equals to dog, which is actually dog. So if cell A2 equals to dog, comma, then what is the value if it is true? What do you want to see if it is true? You see, we want to see mammal, comma, then what will be the value if it's false? Say you want to see bird, then you can close the brackets. Then you can then drag this down. Let me shift this ones forward. You can drag this down further. You see? Now, is anyone confused with the formula at this point?
No.
Okay, very good. Now you see that now dog is called mammal, right? But now we have goats. Goat is also being called bird. Cow is being called bird as well. Pig is being called bird. Rabbit is being called bird. We don't want that. So we need to add more conditions into our formula. So what should be the first? Let's add goats next. So now after the if, right? After the if, you now add and, right? You add and, right? So logic 1, logic 2, logic 3, logic 4. So let's say and okay, let's say cell, I'll still pick A2 in this case, right? Equal to goat, comma, nice. You can come and close the brackets. Sorry. No, you can come and close the brackets here. Come on. Oh, sorry. I made a mistake there. Should be after. You can close the brackets here. There should be a comma here. There should also be a comma here. Okay. Okay. And yes.
I think it's meaning cow.
Okay. I think there's an error somewhere. Like the and function, is it supposed to come inside the first if function or outside the first if function? I think
So
that
it's,
might.
so it's supposed to come inside the if function before the formula. Who is the second person? The formula is working, but there's an error somewhere.
I think you have to close bracket after goat, then create another bracket for
No.
before
That's not the
into
error.
is dog.
No, that's not the error. That's not the error. So we are saying if and A2 equals to goat, right? And A2 equals to dog, right? Mm. Let me see something. A2, let's make this A3. It's serious. Hmm. Okay. Just hold on, please. Oh, I get my mistake. So I'm supposed to say, I'm not supposed to use the and to be or. So let me start all over again. If and pick one, equals to dog. I use the and again. Why am I so much due to the hand? Before, so logical function equals to dog. Or equals to goat. So value if true should be mammal. Okay. Okay. So I should have used the or function. I was so insistent on using and, which is not supposed to be so. So we just want the cell to either meet the condition of a dog or a goat, right? To be called a mammal, right? Am I confusing someone at this point? I know from the error at first. Any confusion?
Yes. Yes, please.
What do you say?
Yes, please. I'm
So
confused.
you are confused.
Mm.
Okay. So we want to classify. Can you mute yourself? You want to classify animals into mammals and birds, right? So we have like 5 mammals here. We have dog, we have goat, we have cow, we have pig, and we have rabbit. So in our formula, we want to specify that if our cell, any of our cell, meets the condition of a dog or a goat or a cow or a pig or a rabbit, then classify them as mammals. And in achieving that, we said we use the if function equal to if, then or. So we need to add the or function. So that's where we specify all our conditions. If or. So our first condition is if the cell is equals to dog. So we put dog in double quotes, dog. Then comma. Then we specify our second logic 2. You can see it on the screen. Logic 2. So specify our second logic. Second logic will be equal to, inside brackets we put comma. Right. So I just added those two first for us to see, for us to understand how it is. And if our cell meets any of these conditions, then we can now get the value, that is if the value if true, right? We want it to classify them as mammals. So that would be value if true. So value if true will be mammal, and value if false will be bird. Are you still confused?
I'm not confused, but if you drag it down to the fowl, and I mean to the goat and the cow, is it going to be the same thing?
So we've not included cow and rabbit and pig in our conditions. So you still referring to them as birds. But you see that dog is not being referred to as mammals, and also goats. So now, what you can now do is now to go and include cow, rabbit, and goats. No, cow, rabbit, and pig in our conditions. So if you go ahead and do that, so now inside the all condition, inside the brackets, now we add another comma and then say animal equal to cow inside the double quotes. Sorry. Inside the double quotes, we put cow and comma and select the cell again equal to double quotes, add rabbits. Or let's add pig. Right, comma. And select the cell again. Say equal to this time, you say rabbit. So now we've specified the condition for all our mammals. So we can now click enter. Right, and then drag it down. So why is this still referring to rabbit as? Oh, rabbit is supposed to have a single B. Is my spelling of rabbit correct? So now you see that now rabbit has been classified as mammals, then fowl as bird. So our classification is now it's now intact, right? So if the condition, then we specify we include the or as the sub condition. So it's inside the or that you now put all your conditions that you want, all the conditions that you want to be met. Any question? Any other question or any confusion?
So how did you get at animals? Because I'm trying it out here, and if I highlight the dog, it's just A2 and not at animals.
So you can also do it like that. Let's try it like that in another cell. So I actually converted the data set into a table. Yeah. So you know how I converted the data set into a table, right? Well, I think we should be able to do that without converting this thing into a table. Animal, then prices. So in this case, we call this one category. Right. So let me go over it again. So I'll say equal to if logical test.
Zoom out, please.
Okay. Okay. So if or add your or in open brackets. Click on this. It2 equal to open brackets and put dog. So an important thing to note is that your spelling must match. Then the next condition will be for goats. So it2 equal to what's that? Goat. Comma. Then A2 equal to, inside double quotes, you add cow and comma, and A2 again equal to pig, comma, A2 again equal to, inside double quotes, we have rabbits, and we can close our brackets for the logic, for our conditions, then comma, and what should be the value if true? The value if true should be mammal. And what should be the value if it's false? The value should be bird. So this works. Press enter. And let's drag it down. So do you get it now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Very good. Very good. So this use case can be applied in different ways, right? Can be applied in different ways. For example, does someone have a question?
Yeah.
Johnson.
Yeah. Okay. How about if we have a range of numbers, and for example, we are dealing with scores here, and we are saying if there's a range of number between 1 to 100, and we are going to say if any number is up to 70, any number is up to 45, it's a pass. If anyone is 25 to 40, it's something else, and if the other one is below 25, it should be failed. So are we going to be able to do something like that?
Yes, we will be able to do something like that. Let's quickly have that example. So again, I'm going to do a round just for this. I'll say round between 0, 100. Press enter. So I can drag this down up to, let's say, 100 students. 100 students. Why is it not filling? Okay. So now, the funniest thing in round is that the values used to change, right? But even if the value is changing, you can still use it that way. So now you want to tell Excel that if someone scores below 40, right, they failed, right? And if they score between 40 and let's say 60, then their score is average. And if they score above 60, then they passed, right? Now,
Sorry, sir. Sorry, please. Can you just touch your cursor on that mama? Let me check out the formula that you have. Okay. It's comma, quotes, mama. Okay. And that's all right.
okay. So before I go ahead and do that, so there's under logical functions, there are I think, yeah. Okay, hold on, sorry. Okay, yeah. So the next thing we are supposed to look at after logical functions, right, is this comparison operators, right, where we have something like equal to, not equal to, less than, greater than, less than or equal to, you know, things like that. So let me just explain it so that we can just take this session at a time. Then after this, we can then move to the next session, or to the next item on the list. So comparison operators in Excel are used to compare values and evaluate conditions. So they are used within logical functions or in combination with other formulas to perform comparisons, right? So in our first example, when we're talking about these logical functions, if and or, right, we're evaluating text columns, right? We're evaluating text columns. So that's why we could say equal to, and just use equal to straight up, right? Well, when we are evaluating numbers, right? When we are evaluating numbers, then we can have something like this, or things like this, equal to, not equal to. Say, for example, we are saying that if a score is equal to 0, that's failed. If a score is equal to 39, failed, right? If a score is equal to 40, then average, right? You can also say if a score is less than 40, right? So less than 40 will be 0 to 39, right? 0 to 39. That means the person has failed. Less than 40, that they have failed. Now, if you say that if the score is greater than or equals to 40, right, and less than or equal to, sorry, and less than 60, that will be what? Average, right? Then we can now say if the score is greater than or equal to 60, right, then passed. The person has passed, right? Or let's say, let's not call it passed. Let's say excellence or distinction, right? So that's use case for comparisons in Excel. So we use the equal to, not equal to. You can see in my Excel we have the signs here, right? We have the signs here. So the sign for equal to, the sign for not equal to. Yeah, you can have two different signs for that. Then less than, greater than, and then less than or equal to. So this comparison operators, right? That's what we are going to use in this case. Yes, yeah, in this case, right? So let me do this. Let me call this course. Let's just say, take this as course of students, right? Now, you want to say grade, right? So now, grade. So how do we do it? To say if. Just give me a minute. Or should we have that 3 minutes break? This 4:47, and just stretch your legs a little bit so that we can get back on the call. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
All right.
Okay.
So
But please, while on that, just to put your course on that, Mama, while we're on the break.
all
I'm
right.
having
So,
an or let me know your name. Please come here.
so we start again at 4:50.
Okay, sir, just a reminder, don't record the break. I think there's a way to pause and then start recording. The last class, I observed that you recorded the break period as well.
Hello, are we all back?
Yes, we are back.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, you're here.
Okay, let's jump straight into our work. So we have this if cell E2 is less than this great, sorry, if it's less than 40, so what should be the value? The value should be a field, comma. Now back to the value if false. Now we want to add another if condition. All right, say if let me add that if, so I need to add and to this one, to this if function, and if cell E2 is greater than or equal to, so this is the sign for greater than. First of all, put greater than, then you put your equal to, greater than or equal to 40, comma, and then cell E2 is less than 60. Less than 60. Right. You can now close your brackets. Comma. So what should be the value if true? Value if true should be average, right? Average. And you close your brackets. Now, sorry. Okay. I need to go back inside there. So comma. So the value if false again. So we need to add another if condition here again to say that if the score is greater than 60 or greater than or equal to 60. So we say if cell E2 is greater than or equal to 60, right? Comma. Then the value should be, it should return
Past.
distinction. No, let's say distinction. Because you can say someone that is average also passed. Distinction. Okay. Then I can press enter, I think. Distinction. So okay, I think I need to close the brackets. So I need to, okay. I need to add 3 brackets after the distinction. That's why I threw up error. See that it's even changing right from there. As I'm clicking enter, it's changing. So if I drag it down, let's look at what our formula has for us. So you can see, right? Distinction, field, average, distinction, field, average, blah, 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 like that. Any question? Any question?
No question.
No question.
Okay. So if you are trying to work on it on your own, you can still go back to the video and try to, replicate what we've done. Okay. So we've touched sorry, this we've touched comparison operators and logical functions. So you can, on your own, you can go and like look for scenarios to try other things, like try to grow your knowledge on the functions, right? Hold on, I want to stop sharing my screen for a bit. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen again. So with I think with logical functions and comparison operators, we've come to the end of week 1, so we can jump right into week 2. Who is excited about that? How has been the class so far? Respond. Afusats.
Wonderful.
Oh, great. Thank you. So I think only Afusat has been following the class.
When can we start making job applications?
Okay. So I know that you are getting to the interesting parts, and you just need to keep calm and follow step by steps, right? Just follow the steps. You are going to get it. And if you have questions, you can reach out, or you can use Google. So let's continue. So jumping right into week 2. Okay, so week 2, we are going back to aggregate functions, right? We are starting with aggregate functions. So this is like in when we looked at aggregate functions the other time, we talked about sum and counts, right? So in this case, we have and also we some few minutes ago we looked at comparison operators and logical functions, right? If so, combining the aggregate functions and logical functions together, right? We have very good use case for that, right? If you have interacted with SQL before, you would have noticed where something like the group by column, or maybe not even in SQL. Maybe you've done something like a summary in Excel, in Excel, right? Take for example, you have let me go to my sheet. So please favor mute yourself. You are disturbing the class. Okay, so now we have this data here, data for animal sales, right? So if we want to do a summary of our sales, let's say we want to know how much sales we did for dogs, and how much sales we did for goats, and how much sales we did for fowl. So that kind of summary, the sum ifs and the count ifs can help us with that. So conditional aggregation functions like sum ifs and count ifs calculate values based on specific conditions in your spreadsheet, right? They aggregate selected values that meet specific criteria within a given data range. So starting with the sum ifs, the sum if function adds up the value in a range that meets a specific condition. For example, suppose that in a column that contains number, you want to sum all the values that are larger than 5. Then you can use the following formula. Sum if, then you highlight the range of cells, and you say greater than 5. So you are able to sum the values that are greater than 5. So the syntax for sum if is sum if equal to sum if, then you you select your range, and you select your criteria, and then you select your sum range. As we go into the examples, you will understand better. So I'm going to start with the sum if first. Sum ifs. Just give me a minute. I need to take something. Okay, I am back
So,
now.
excuse me.
Yeah, go ahead.
All of these things you're doing, I don't know if they work exactly the same with Google Sheet because I've just been following. I just want to take a minute to do all of those work on Google Sheet, and I don't know.
So which one have you tried to do on Google Sheet and it didn't work?
The logic, the last example you did now with the pass average and all of that.
Okay, I'm coming. Hold on. Are you with me?
Yeah. I'm following up.
Can you see?
Yeah.
So I can add the other ones too. So do you get it?
Yeah, this is quite understandable. For the numbers that you did a random of 0 to 100, please, can you try to do that for me?
Okay, the random. Let me see. Just round. This round between 1, low number 1. Okay, we said 0, right? The 100. Enter. So you can drag it down up to 100. Does that make sense?
Yeah, perfectly.
Any other question?
No, like I was saying, the logic you did with this
Okay, the
number.
logic.
Yeah.
Okay. So I said if this cell equal to is less than, right, less than 40, then the value if true should be filled, right? So then the value if false higher than that if, then I say okay, I had if and 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 I say if this cell is greater than or equal to 40, then I add the second condition, E2 is less than 60. And I close brackets, right? Press comma. Then what should be the value if true? It should be pass. No, average, right? And comma. Then value false. Then we add another if condition, right? But this time, if it's greater than, if this cell is greater than 60.
There is no and in the last condition.
No, there's no and. So we are just saying if the score is greater than 60, right? Now what should be the value if true? It should be value should be, what did you call it?
Distinction.
Distinction. So I cannot close brackets, close brackets, close brackets. Enter. So do you get the gist?
Yeah, why do we have false in 60?
False. Let me see. Oh, it's supposed to be greater, no, in 60. Greater than or equal to. So we have false in 60. Consist. Oh, I need to drag it down. So 60 should not be throwing up that result again, that error again. That false error. Let me change this to 60. It's false. Oh, equal to. The change has been made now. Yeah. So are we good?
Yeah. I think the problem I had was I was not including and in that middle.
Okay. So where was I? So I was saying that, take for example, you have a scenario whereby you are trying to summarize what is here, animals and price. So you are trying to get maybe how much sales we made on dogs, how much sales we made on goats, and how much sales we made on fowl, cow, pig, rabbit, and the likes. So you can do that using the sum ifs, right? So I'll just delete this. So now, right? Okay, let me start from. So I call this one sum ifs, right? So how did I get? I didn't type this list number one by one. In last week, I think I talked about removing duplicates, right? Someone can remember, right?
Yeah, you did.
I talked about removing duplicates. So what I did there was just to highlight everything and then remove duplicates. So data and then remove duplicates. Continue with the current selection and remove duplicates. Yeah. So after removing duplicates, I'm able to have my distinct list. So now back to the sum if. So what you do is equal to sum if. Sum if. Right. So in this sum if, we have the range, then we have the criteria, and then we have the sum range, right? So the range is where you are going to pick your criteria from. So in this case, the range will be dog. Just pay attention, right? I'm going to highlight this as my range, right? And I'll say comma. Now, what is my first criteria? My first criteria will be dog. So I'll select this as my first criteria, right? And I'll say comma. Now, my sum range is the price column. So I'll select it. I'll highlight everything on my sum range, right? And I will close the brackets and press enter, right? So we now have the total sum of the total sales I made on dogs. So I can drag it down to get the total sales for other animals. Let me try to do that again here. Right. So I have all this same here. Now for this, put them here. Then on this page, I'll remove duplicates. Remove duplicates. And click OK. Right. Then I have on this column I have total sales. So now to get the total sales for each of the item on the list, I'll say equal to sum if. So my range, I'll select my range, which will be this, comma. Then my criteria will be each of the items in this column. So I'll select dog first. So it's just saying, it's literally saying everything on this range, column A2 to A30, if is equal to dog, which is H3, then sum their prices, right? So I'll say comma, and then I'll select the prices, the sum range, right? And then close the brackets and click enter. Any question?
No.
So we get the gist. Very good. So I can then drag this down for the other items on the list. So we have the sum ifs. When we have, for example, if we have more than one criteria or more than one condition that we want to satisfy, we have the sum ifs for that. So you see some ifs. This is the formula. You can play with that on your own, in your free time, right? So I've touched some ifs. Now the next one is the count if. The count if. So let's say we want to know we want to know how many animals we sold per category or per animal type, right? Take for example, how many dogs did you sell? How many goats did you sell? How many fowls did you sell? How many cow did you sell? How many pig? How many rabbits did we sell? Right? The count if will help you with that summary, right? So it's similar to sum if, right? But a little bit different, right? So in this case, what we're going to do is equal to count if. Count if. And see also we have count ifs, or in a case where you have more than one condition or more than one criteria, right? So we want to count, right? So count if has only 2 arguments compared to sum if that has 3 arguments. So the first argument for count if is the range, which will be this range, this animal range. So select the range, then comma. Then you need to now select the criteria, which will be dog, which is the first criteria, dog. And then close the brackets and press enter. It give us 10. Then we can drag